Hello everyone, and now we will discuss about the elements and principles of art. But of course, let's start first with the elements of art visual. So without further ado, let's start. Okay, so focus muna tayo sa visual. Kapag sinabi nating visual, ito ay yung nakikita natin. So it is usually used in painting, drawing, and the like. So we have six elements of art under visual. So first is line, second and third we have shape and form, fourth is space, five is color, and last is texture. So of course, we need to make use of these elements in order to develop, improve, or make our artwork more creative. So of course, let's start with line. So don't get confused with the definition of line in geometry and definition of line here in our subject art appreciation. So napakadali lang. When we talk about line, it refers to a point moving at an identifiable path. It has length and direction. Also, it has a width. So of course, we have different artworks who uses lines. So ano ba yung kadalasang artworks na gumagamit ng lines or mostly lines? 'Di ba we have comics, 'di ba? Okay. So of course, we have three different kinds of lines here. I know this. Okay. So let's go back. Balikan lang natin 'to. So first is we have the horizontal as well as vertical line. So it refers to the orientation of the line. So horizontal, I know there are some students who get confused with horizontal and vertical. Horizontal, it starts with letter H, therefore higda. And V, vertical, varog. Okay, para dili malibog. We also have diagonal lines and we also have crook lines. Okay? So you know what? According here, that if you are using diagonal lines, it conveys what? Movement and instability. Okay, as compared to horizontal line and vertical line. While when we talk about crook lines, it reminiscent of violence. Okay? And aside from the horizontal, vertical, diagonal, and crook lines, we also have these, what do we call this one? Curve lines. So therefore, if you are using mostly curved lines in your artwork, so therefore, you tend to signify what? Softness, grace, flexibility, or even sensuality. So therefore, each line, it has different meanings, okay? So actually here, we have this Francisco artwork of Francisco Digoya. So actually, if we will try to zoom, so pasensya, pixelated siya. Try to search this one. Mostly line talaga yung ginagamit niya to, of course, do the, para it will look like shinade siya. And we also have the artwork of Theodore. Okay, so again, first, elements of art under visual lines. We also have shape and form. So you know what? These two are related to each other in the sense that they define the space occupied by the object of art. Shape refers to two dimensions while form refers to three dimensions. Again, the difference between shape and form, shape 2D, form 3D. So we have geometric. So ano ba tong mga geometric shapes? So these shapes are what? Example, squares, triangles, cubes, circles, and of course, the 3D version of that one, we have the pyramid, sphere, diba? And aside from the geometric shapes and form, we also have this organic. So as compared to geometric, we have this organic. So it is readily occurring in nature. So it is often irregular and symmetrical as compared to geometric shape. So nakikita nyo naman, di ba, we have an example here, a vase. Okay, so we have here, so if we will try to look this artwork by Rafael, di ba, it seems like para siyang 3D, it pop out. So hindi lang siya parang, if you are going to look at it, hindi lang siya parang yung 2D na shape ang ginamit. So the artist of this one made use of what? Like shading and the like, of course, to give emphasis to its form. And number 4, we have space. So napakadali lang itong space because it refers to what? Sense of depth. Okay, so of course we have two. We have the positive space and negative space. So here, let's have the positive space. Always remember, it is the what? The shadow. Okay, positive space, it is the shadow or it is the black. While the negative space, it is the white space. Okay, again, positive, black, negative, white. So here, so we have examples here. So therefore here, the what do we call this one? The shadow, baba nitong cloud gate is of course, it is a positive or negative? Correct. Positive space. And if you are wala na ka sa shadow, so therefore it is now the negative space. So of course, three-dimensional space. So as what you could see in the example here, so it is a technique wherein you are trying to draw in a two-dimensional object, but with the use of course, shading, shadows, and the like, so you tend to make a three-dimensional space. And now we have the color. So, pinaka-favorite natin ito when we talk about visual arts. And of course, as an education student, teacher, future teacher kayo, you need to know the, of course, different set of colors, most especially in using para sa inyong visual aids, instructional materials, and the like. Because you know what, there are some instructional materials nga murag add kayo ang color because they do not complement, they are not triadic, or even monochromatic analogous. Okay, so color is perhaps one of the elements that enhances the appeal of an artwork. It depends on a person because there are person nga gusto siya mga tingkad na color. Napoy isa ka person nga gusto siya og mga earth tone colors. Napoy isa ka kuan person na mas gusto siya og mga darker colors. So, much of what we know about colors begin with the notion of color theory that was first unraveled by the experiments undertaken by Sir Isaac Newton in 1666. So first, let's get to know this one, the color wheel. As a teacher, kailangan nating malaman tong color wheel. Okay? So later on, so I'll be creating a separate video for you to be able to easily familiarize or know how did they make or come up with this color wheel. Pardon. Okay, so first, let's have a U. Every color and every hue, diba? So this dimension of colors gives its name. So it can be subdivided into, so we have three hues: the primary colors, secondary colors, and the tertiary colors. So primary colors, we have ano ito, the blue, the yellow, and red. So sir, yun sa pag-come up sa secondary color, you just need to mix two primary colors. So therefore, if we will mix yellow and blue, therefore the result is color green. If we will mix yellow and red, we'll come up with color, correct, orange. And if we will mix blue and red, we'll come up with color. So some coined it as purple or violet. And of course, in tertiary color is we will just mix the primary as well as the secondary color. Okay? So later on, okay, so I'll just upload a separate video para mas dali niyo ni siya masabtan. So next we have value. So value, this refers to the brightness or darkness of color. So as what I have mentioned kanina, there are people who love light colors and there are also persons who love dark colors. So we have here, so of course, ito na side, we have the light colors and we have the dark colors. So sir, how would we be able to identify na light na pala yan, na dark na pala yan? So therefore, we will mix it up with color white, black, as well as gray. So of course, if we will mix a color or a hue with white, we call that one as tint. If black naman, we call it as shade. So therefore, if the hue or color red, we will mix it with white. So therefore, it depends on the level or number or the amount of white that you're going to mix with red. So we will come up with pink, diba? But if red, we will mix it with color black. So therefore, it becomes darker. So it could be maroon. So therefore, tint, we will add white, and shade, we will add black. And now intensity. There are some other books wherein they identify intensity as mixing it with color gray. But here, it focuses more on the intensity or the brightness or the darkness of the color. So of course, we have cool colors and we also have bright or warm colors. So diba, usually kung init ang panahon, mao na din sila, ngano nagsuot man kaan ng pula, iginit kaayo, igang kaayo. Because it belongs to bright or warm colors. And we also have cool colors here. So I believe that each one of us, we do really have our own preference, whether we choose cool or warm colors. So and now, so talking about colors, so we have three. So we have this monochromatic harmony. We also have complementary harmony. We also have analogous harmony. So ano ba itong monochromatic harmony, sir? So in monochromatic harmony, you use the variations of a hue. So therefore, isang kulay lang yung gagamitin mo. So you just need to mix it up or make use of black and white. So therefore, different variations of a hue. So as you could see here, so okay, so later or no, on the next video, I'll be showing you the best example of monochromatic harmonies wherein isang hue lang talaga yung ginamit nila and that is color blue. Okay? So of course, here in the given example, let's focus dito sa naka-blue. So diba, isang hue lang yung ginamit nila, but on some other parts of this artwork, of course, they tend to mix it with white and what do we call this one? Black, of course, to give emphasis to its value. And we also have complementary harmonies. So let's go back to the color wheel. When we talk about complementary, so therefore it is the opposite color in the color wheel. So what do you think the opposite of red? Of course, that is color green. And what do you think the opposite of blue? That is color orange. So therefore, red and green, they complement to each other, and blue and orange, they can complement to each other. So we call that one as complementary harmonies. So let's go back to the given example here. So let's focus dito sa outfit. 'Di ba? Complementary harmony yung ginamit niya because they tend to what? Gitapat ang duha ka color. We have the blue and I no the blue. We have the red and green which are what? Complements to each other. And we also have analogous harmonies. Here in analogous harmonies is of course, let's go back again to our color wheel. So here in analogous, when we talk about analogous harmonies, ito yung magkakatabi sa ating color wheel. Ano ba yung mga kulay na magkakatabi sa ating color wheel? So, you could use this one. For example, ito. So, yung red orange, orange, and yellow orange lang talaga yung gagamitin mong kulay in your artwork. Kapag yan lang yung ginamit mong kulay in your artwork, so that is what we call what? Analogous harmony. So, let's go back to our example. Okay, 'di ba? So, if you try to search this artwork of Edgar Degas, so mostly, so dominantly analogous harmony yung ginamit niya rito because the color here, most especially dito sa kabayo, sa what do we call this one? Sa grass, of course, ginamit niya most are what? Red orange, orange, yellow orange. And of course, there's some yellow. And we also have triadic harmonies. So ito na may triadic harmonies is, when we talk about triadic, it means tatlo. So therefore, of course, let's go back here in our color wheel. So sir, paano natin, of course, ma-identify na triadic ang color? So, gawa lang tayo ng triangle. So therefore, red, yellow, and of course, we have this, anong kulay ito? This color is of course, we call that one as triadic. Okay. So let's go back to our example. Okay. So therefore, dominant of the colors here are triadic. So you just need to, of course, draw triangle don sa color wheel. And lastly, we have the texture. So when we talk about texture, 'di ba? Ito yung nahahawakan natin. It could be rough or smooth. So therefore, in visual art, therefore we need to provide texture. Most especially if you tend to imitate, not really imitate, but of course, turn your artwork somehow related or malapit sa reality. So therefore, nakikita pa lang nila is it feels something, 'di ba? It feels rough or smooth. Like for example, this artwork. Kung makikita 'di ba natin yung inilagay sa leeg, 'di ba? It seems like rough siya kahit hindi natin nahawakan. So that is what we call texture. So we have different textures here that you could use in your artwork. So in this way, it seems like kahit hindi nahawakan ng mga audience yung artwork mo, visually pa lang daan, ma-feel na nila, uy, rough siya. Uy, smooth siya. Okay? So, this is the first part of the elements of art which focuses more on the visual elements. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and of course, wait for the next part of this video because I'll be uploading the other elements of art. Thank you so much. By the way, this is Mark Jen Martinez, your pogging instructor.